opened an hour ago, as voters decide if Lori Lightfoot deserves a second term.
Chicago police trade gunfire with a suspect during a standoff on the far south side. What authorities are telling us about it.
And the U.S. Supreme Court is about to take up an important case involving President Biden's student loan forgiveness program. It is Tuesday, Election Day, February 28th.
Live from Chicago's #1 news, ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7. Start streaming now.
Good morning, everybody. Tuesday is here, Election Day. Terrell Brown.
And I'm Val Warner. We're going to get a check of weather first, though, because yesterday, tornadoes, ugly weather.
Yep.
Then look at what a difference a day makes, Tracy.
Oh, my goodness, does it ever. Our last day of February 2023, and it's Election Day. And we are expecting quiet weather conditions, nothing to prevent you from getting out to vote today. Right now, as we look at pictures, we're at 37 in Waukegan, 38 degrees currently in Valparaiso, 37 right now Rensselaer, 37 in Morris. So you get the idea, everybody kind of in the same neighborhood. Wanted to check wind chills so you know how to prepare for the way it really feels out there. Upper 20-degree wind chills out in McHenry and in Hampshire. Feels like it's 32 out at O'Hare, and 31 is the wind chill in Pittsfield. So today, anticipating it's partial. So highs near 50. Roz?
We travel times averaging about 40 minutes on most of your expressways. We don't have any new crashes on any of the interior expressways, but we do have this crash on the shoulder southbound 55 right around Route 126. It looks like they have cleared more of that up because I'm no longer seeing delays in either direction, but we are hearing about this crash on 355 southbound. It's just south of St. Charles Road. Copper 7 is over it. Everything's on the shoulder. Got a couple vehicles on the left shoulder. We also had a semi on the shoulder, a little south of there on the right shoulder. No police with it at the time, but we heard this on the scanners, so we may see some state troopers pulling up at that location. Just be aware. It's southbound 355 south of St. Charles Road. Val and Terrell.
I got it, Russ. Thank you. Let's get to vote 2023 this morning. It's Election Day in Chicago, and voters are heading to the polls to decide if Lori Lightfoot should be reelected.
But it will almost certainly take a runoff before a winner is declared. Jessica D'Onofrio is live at the super site in the Loop with more. Jess.
Val and Terrell, mayoral candidates, after those undecided voters today, they will be crisscrossing the city in a final push. There are 9 candidates on the ballot for mayor. A new poll showing Paul Vallis on top, nearly 27% support for Brandon Johnson, Lori Lightfoot, Jesus Wilson. Have to receive of the
It's going to be very close. As I said, we still have 100,000 vote by mail ballots that have not been returned. And that could potentially make a difference in some aldermanic and mayoral and other races. So it is very possible we would know by tonight who the top 2 candidates are.
Now, you just heard from the Chicago Board of Election Commissioners Chairwoman Marisol Hernandez. There are also, meanwhile, races for aldermen in all 50 wards on elections. Officials say they are pleased with early voting numbers ahead of Election Day. More than 244,000 votes have already been cast, with more than 1/3 of early voters ages 65 and older. Now back here live, the polls opened an hour ago. They'll remain open until 7 o'clock tonight. Val and Terrell, back to you.
All right, Jessica D'Onofrio. Jess, thank you so much. And the election also means big changes for many of Chicago's wards. That'll be getting a new alderperson. We've got more information on all the races in our online voter guide. It's available on our website and on our news apps. And be sure to hang with us tonight for election results analysis. Live streaming coverage starts at 7 p.m. ABC7Chicago.com or wherever you stream. And a complete wrap-up on Eyewitness News at 10.
Well, this broke overnight. 2 men have been found dead inside an apartment on Chicago's South Side. Police say it appears both had been shot in the head. Authorities say an acquaintance found the bodies in the home near Ingleside in the eastern neighborhood. Police are calling this a double homicide investigation. No one is in custody. Also overnight, a SWAT situation on Chicago's South Side after shots were fired at police. Officers returned fire. No one was hit. Weapon was recovered, and we're told the incident started as a domestic disturbance near 129th and Peoria. Police took a 43-year-old man into custody.
This is new. Chicago police warning business owners about a string of restaurant burglaries. The majority of the nearly 2 dozen burglaries were Sunday at downtown restaurants. Police, the offender breaks doors to get in, steals property, and then takes off.
New this morning, more damage from storms across the Chicago area. Late last night, strong winds blew over a large tree on the southwest side, damaging 2 homes. Look at those pictures.
Diane Pathio is out there live East Beverly this morning with a look at how things look now, Diane.
You can actually still see the tree right over my right shoulder, Val and Terrell, and you can see the damage it caused. There's actually a hole in one of the homes here. That's how bad they are. Inspectors had to be called in to assess the damage, make sure these buildings are structurally sound. It happened late last night in the 1700 block of West 101st Street. The large tree came down from those strong winds, slamming onto these homes, causing damage not just to this main house, but to the one next door.
It fell down, hit his house, took a big chunk out of the front, and it hit our roof. And we're going to need a new roof and some drywalling on the inside. But everybody's fine, nobody's hurt.
The fire department did put a 4-year-old man to Christ Hospital in good condition. As I mentioned, city inspectors did come out to take a look this morning. Homeowners say they have to assess the damage further, along with their insurance companies. Val and Terrell, back to you.
Diane Pathio. Diane, thank you so much. 6 past the hour. Yesterday's wild weather spun up several rare winter tornadoes. The National Weather Service confirms at least 5 twisters touched down in Illinois. 3 were near Chicago. 1 low-grade tornado tore through the border between Kendall and Will counties. Residents had to run for cover.
I just looked out the window and I just saw it coming right down the street. It was nuts. I've never seen anything like it.
And my fence, you can see it's all down. But my furniture levitated off the ground. And I started running through the kitchen to get away from the windows.
The storm did cause minor damage around Plainfield. Thankfully, in all of this, no one was hurt. All right, I want to talk about the Evanston City Council and their approval of funding for a new animal shelter. The city originally approved plans for a new building last year, but increased costs put the project in jeopardy. The existing shelter was designed in 1987 as a dog pound and was in danger of closing.
A coalition of West suburban mayors is citing the Ohio train derailment disaster as a reason to stop a proposed freight rail merger. The group claims the proposed deal with Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern rail companies would hurt communities between Chicago and Elgin. Their concerns include increased traffic, noise pollution, as well as the risk of derailments like the one spilling toxic chemicals in East Palestine, Texas. The Surface Transportation Board in Washington, D.C. still approve the merger before it can go any forward.
Today, Uniting Voices of Chicago hosts a musical celebration of Black History Month. It'll include nearly 3,000 young singers from across the city. The concert features music and freedom movements from several African nations. The show is at 11 o'clock this morning at the Symphony Center. Admission is free, but organizers say they will be collecting donations.
Last day of Black History Month.
Yeah, flew by.
Yeah, always does. Your live and local news is just getting started as we stream out loud this morning. You not know where your food deliveries really come from.
Yeah, what our I-team heard about real restaurants using ghost kitchen name on delivery apps. More on that on the way. First, Tracy.
Well, deliveries cannot be late today because of the weather. It's going to be a day. We'll talk about what else is in the forecast coming up. Well, good morning to you. And on this election day, we are off with very quiet weather conditions in the area. Today, we will be up 50 degrees. Other things we are looking at today, partial sunshine. Rain is going to develop here later. So you will not have any rain to concern yourself with when you go to vote today. Now, if you're close to the midnight hour, that's well after the polls have closed. And yes, we will see some rain developing. Tomorrow's going to be very mild. Friday, we are watching for snow, accumulating snow, a rain-snow mix in the area. Still 4 days away from this thing. Still have to find the track and look at our precipitation chances here in the coming days. So tonight, this is what happens. This was through during the overnight hours. And the way I see it right now, it doesn't look like it will have much impact other than maybe residual for tomorrow morning. Jump to Friday, because Friday morning's commute, especially the second half, we will start to see this precipitation moving in. Again, still at the early stages of this, but it does look like Friday could be a messy day. Roz?
We are looking at continuing building traffic on the expressways. Now the travel times are anywhere from 40 to 50 minutes. That 50-minute trip is actually on the inbound Stevenson. Tollways, the only one showing any measurable delays, the northbound Tri-State in the work zone approaching the Stevenson, but the rest of the tollways look pretty good. Off the expressways and tollways, we have a couple things. We've got a stall blocking a lane in Wheaton at the intersection of Naperville and Roosevelt Roads. And in Waukegan, these traffic lights have been malfunctioning for more than 24 hours. This started yesterday early morning, Lewis Avenue and Brookside, and we are seeing delays now on Lewis Avenue in both directions approaching those lights. Val and Terrell, back to you.
All right, thank you for the update. Want to get to this I-Team investigation this morning. You may be ordering a lot of food delivery this winter, but do you really know where that food's coming from?
This morning, the ABC7 team is investigating the trend of ghost kitchens on delivery apps. This is where the restaurant name on the app is different from the restaurant that's actually making the food.
Consumer investigator Jason Knowles is diving into that data. Jason.
The food is all made in the same kitchen, but you could be ordering pizza from a Mexican restaurant without knowing. The I-Team is finding hundreds of ghost kitchens on apps. The city is asking restaurants to be more transparent. We ordered from ghost kitchens on food delivery apps. The names are different than the brick and mortar restaurant where food is actually coming from. ABC data journalist Maggie Green has been matching up ghost kitchens with their real restaurants by cross-referencing addresses.
Some places have 10, 15 virtual kitchens attached to them. Some places have 1 or 2.
We made sure each place had a recent passing health inspection report before ordering. Checks made it difficult for some consumers.
The average person who's ordering from broke, high, and hungry may not know it's really Cheesy's Pub.
ABC7 data team uncovered more than 300 ghost kitchens in the Chicago area. The vast majority of those names are not found in health department food inspection records, but the restaurants they are housed in are inspected. Most of the food comes in generic packaging, which does not identify the real restaurant, except for this order of hot chicken.
Conviction Chicken and Wings. It came from TGI Fridays. We have a pizza and a Greek salad from a Mexican restaurant.
The owner of Taqueria El Ranchito showed the I-Team how delivery orders for its ghost kitchens come through on these tablets. All of the food is made in the same kitchen.
Are these all for different restaurants?
Yes.
And you have about 20 different ghost kitchen restaurants.
Correct. The restaurant has recent good health inspection reports, but what if food comes from a restaurant with health violations? The I-Team found some of the most serious violations. Buffalo Wild Wings on 513 West Taylor Street near the South houses the ghost restaurant Wildberg. The restaurant had recent failing inspections with violations including 100 fruit flies throughout the establishment and no soap at a hand washing sink. Follow-up reports the restaurant fixed violations and passed inspection.
We're going to ask about that Wild Burger name and the health inspection report.
I left my card and emailed the corporate contacts and didn't hear back.
All right, let's take a look.
Captain Hook's and the Firehouse Steak and Lemonade near the Illinois Medical District also has ghost kitchen names. The manager showed me how violations were corrected and disputed some of them, including his dispute over a violation for rodent droppings. So you're saying this is just broken up rubber?
And you're going to find that everywhere. And then those little rubber pellets they thought were rodent droppings.
The restaurant passed a follow-up inspection. We also asked him about his ghost kitchen names. Firehouse Fish and Chicken and Firehouse Burgers.
Right. I would tell anybody to look up Captain Hook's Fish and Chicken if you want to look up our health inspection.
He and other restaurant owners say consumers can search the addresses of ghost kitchens on food delivery apps and then match the addresses to the real restaurant name. But the group Stop Foodborne Illness has concerns about consumers searching for inspections or reporting health problems.
It's a big deal because we don't know the food safety practices that are occurring.
The Chicago Department of Public Health says it can't track ghost kitchen names unless they're on record with the city. The city's Business Affairs and Consumer Protection Department says like restaurants need to be listing those 300 plus ghost names as DBAs or doing business as. But the I team found the majority of the restaurants don't do it.
Consumers need to be aware of who they're purchasing food from and whether they are a legitimate establishment. The consequences can be very severe.
The names are trendy and helping restaurant sales, but the city says if restaurants don't list their names as doing business in city records, they could get warnings or fines. For now, consumers may have to do that extra research online to know where their food is coming from. Links to report a health issue on our website, abc7chicago.com. Jason Knowles, ABC7 Eyewitness News. Lord have mercy.
Now I'm at the point where I order the food and I just pray and eat it. What else can you do?
Now, we do need to bless the food. Do you remember that time that we got food and we used to order it and then you decided to pick it up one day?
Yeah,
and
I
saw
actually.
what you saw.
Yep.
We never ordered from there again.
Again.
So sometimes it's like, I know information is power, and I know that's what we need. And that's our job, is to give you the information. Do you want to know?
Ignorance is bliss, especially when it comes to my food.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So we're going to go to the throne
Right?
and just pray that the food is good.
Right. Bless the Lord. Bless
Right.
him. 17 past the hour.
Later this hour, we are live on the couch with ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington. She's going to be discussing top contenders for the mayor's race and what other races we need to be watching today. That's ahead at 7:30.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments in two cases challenging President Biden's plan for student loan forgiveness. The president wants to cancel up to $20,000 in debt for some borrowers who earn less than $125,000 a year. For households, the income level is $250,000 a year. The High Court is taking up two separate lawsuits against the plan. One was filed by two borrowers. The other was filed by a group of 6 Republican-led states claiming the president's plan is an illegal abuse of power and is unfair to some borrowers. The White House says the president has the authority to carry out this campaign promise.
The White House is giving all federal agencies 30 days to wipe TikTok off all government devices. There is growing security concerns about the Chinese-owned social media app. Some agencies, including the Departments of Defense, Homeland Security, and State Department, already have restrictions on TikTok. The guidance calls on the rest of the federal government to follow suit within 30 days.
This is new. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Kazakhstan. He's there to meet with the leaders of Kazakhstan and the other former Soviet republics in Central Asia. U.S. officials hope that Blinken can convince them that Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a threat to them.
Blinken's high-profile visit to the region follows the surprise visit by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. She visited Kyiv yesterday, just days after President Biden's historic trip. Ms. Yellen announced the transfer of $1.25 billion in economic aid to Ukraine. It is the first installment of a $45 billion aid package Congress approved in December.
Back here at home, Northwestern University will hold another listening event this morning on their proposal to rebuild Ryan Field. Starts at 9 o'clock this morning, it's about an hour and a half from now, goes to 11 o'clock at Anderson Hall. Northwestern says a new Ryan Field, you can see it here in these renderings from the school, would create a world-class home for Northwestern University athletics and a year-round asset for the community. A number of neighbors living close to the stadium have put up signs against the project. Some people have signed a petition opposing a new Ryan Field. The university needs approval from Evanston City Council before construction can begin. Right. Keep you posted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks beautiful.
It does. So we're going to link up right now that's watching Good Morning America. Tanya Babbage will have a new on TV in just a bit, and you'll see it right here, too.
And then when we come back, the local athletes make Chicago proud by helping Howard University swim team.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It is 7:23. I'm Tanya Babbage. It is Election Day in Chicago and the polls are in. It's a crowded race with 9 hopefuls making a final push today to persuade those undecided voters. In the race for mayor, a new poll shows Paul Vallis on top, followed by Brandon Johnson, Lightfoot, Jesus Chuy Garcia, and Willie Wilson. Only 2 candidates will get to compete if a runoff is necessary in April, but the county elections commissioner says it's possible we may not know who those candidates are by the end of today. Let's get a check of the ABC7 AccuWeather forecast meteorologist Tracy Butler.
Tanya, well, you know, by the end of today, we will get some more into the region, but not during our daylight hours. Right now, 38 degrees out at O'Hare, 39 at Midway and Gary, 39 Joliet, 34 degrees currently in Woodstock. So as you can see, we keep it dry throughout the day, and these temperatures this afternoon will be up near 50 degrees. As for tomorrow, we may round up and say our highs tomorrow could get near 60 degrees around the area, but then it's going to get colder and maybe even some snow here on Friday. Roz, after this break.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. Do that. Let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate for health.
Morning, everybody. We start with a green line delay. This is going to be a residual delay because of earlier police activity at the Harlem station. So give yourself a few extra minutes there. But on the expressways, those travel times are kind of high. They're 45 to 55 minutes. At 55 minutes, that's going to be on the inbound Kennedy. It's really slow coming in from O'Hare. We can take a look at one of our tollway cameras. It's the state heading northbound right around LaGrange Road in that construction zone approaching the Stevenson, and that really is the only delay. It's slow in pockets from 95th to 75th. The rest of the tollways, though, are in pretty good shape this morning.
All right, live look outside this morning, 38 degrees. End of February, seeing people just walking around with a hoodie outside, a pair of jeans on. It's real nice.
And remember yesterday morning what we were looking at?
Yeah.
It was like a puddle of rain all on State Street.
Pouring outside.
Yeah.
So much quieter this morning. We'll see where we go for the rest of the week here in just a little bit. In the meantime, this morning, the only all-black college swim team in the country is making Chicago proud by making history over the weekend. Howard University men's swimming program won its first conference championship, and the city of Chicago was well represented on that team. Sophomore Tristan Stevens graduated from Whitney Young in the West Loop. Another Chicago native, Michaela Spears, is on Howard's women's swim team. We had a chance to talk to both of them about their big wins.
We were really excited for the opportunity to like accomplish history.
We don't have that example of Black success. Howard swim team is that for ourselves and everyone.
Spears also won gold at the same Northeast Conference Championship. Congratulations.
Congratulations
I
to them.
didn't know that that Whitney Young had a swim team program.
You know what's crazy? So Max is, you know this.
Yeah.
Max, my son, is a freshman at Whitney Young. And as part of PE and gym,
They
there
have to-
is a section, a tour, like it might have been longer than 2 weeks, where they have to take swim.
Ooh.
I go, oh no. Anytime you're in that water, I gotta be there. You don't remember, because I'm still being the helicopter mother from when he was little, watching him in that water. So every day I pick him up from school when he was doing the course about the swimming, and he's like, his hair is all sponged up and wet. And I'm like, you got in that pool? Like, yeah. He said he's in the deep end.
Really?
So they actually take swim lessons at
That's,
CPS
you know
school.
what? And I'm a little jealous.
Right? Me too.
I would love to have had that back.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
It's great. Yep.
Yeah. Now he's learning about phosphate.
My head.
He's smarter than yeah. It's happening. It's already happening. Love it.
Yeah,
All right. Coming up this morning, we're going to check back in with Tracy and Roz for another update on weather and current travel time.
And we'll also get a look at some of the stories that we're going to be watching for today. Busy day that's on the way.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Now it's 7:30, taking a look at some of the morning's top stories. It's Election Day in Chicago, and the race that's getting the most attention is that for mayor. It'll almost certainly take a runoff before a winner is declared. Polls open They're open right now. They're open until 7 o'clock tonight.
The U.S. Supreme Court is taking up a partisan legal fight over President Biden's plan to wipe away or reduce student loans held by millions of Americans. The High Court is taking up 2 separate lawsuits against the plan. One was filed by 2 borrowers. The other was filed by a group of 6 Republican-led states, claiming the president's plan is an illegal abuse of power and is unfair to some borrowers.
National Weather Service has confirmed at least 2 brief EF0 tornadoes that touched down in the Chicago suburbs yesterday. Weather officials say the tornadoes touched down in the western part of Joliet and far northern Naperville. Yeah. All right. They're really busy. It's just a weird weather day yesterday all the way around. Hey, everybody. Tuesday here. Back outside this morning. I'm Terrell Brown.
And I'm Val Warner. Beautiful shot of our city. Take a look at your temperature. 40 degrees. Tracy, this is just too good to be true. I don't want to jinx it, though.
Well, yesterday was not too good.
That's true.
That's, I mean, there's such trade-offs with this this kind of pattern that we have been in. This morning, we do have temperatures in the upper 30s. Our average high today is 41 degrees, so we're closer to the average high today than we are to the average low. And we're not going to stop there, but I do want to make mention of wind chills so that you're prepared for how it's going to feel when you head out the door, get the kiddos ready for school. We have some wind chills in the upper 20s this morning. This afternoon, we'll get partial sunshine and highs today up near 50 degrees. It's tomorrow. We could be near 60. Roz?
The big traffic story this morning, the travel times, they're really high right now, ranging 50 minutes to 1 hour 20 on the inbound Kennedy. We don't have any crashes out there, and the tollway delays are pretty minimal. We do have a minor delay on the Green Line, a residual delay. Earlier police activity at the Harlem station, but the CTA is rolling out something new for those of you who ride the Blue Line. They're going to have real-time platform video streaming live from Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. This is what it's going to look like, and you can get it on the CTA website, which we have actually linked to our website. But the thing is, these platforms, this will give you an idea in real time what's happening, so you can plan the best time to head out there and catch your train. If it's really crowded, you may want to wait, or if it's looking like this, well, go now. So yeah, it's on our website, ABC7Chicago.com. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thank you. Now to vote 2023. It is finally Election Day here in Chicago, and the polls have been open now for about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, and there are several races on the ballot. Most notably, of course, what everybody's talking about is that race for mayor. Political analyst Laura Washington is here to talk about that and more. Laura, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
All right, so I actually want to check out the latest poll numbers and where we are right now. So Paul Vallis at the top, Brandon Johnson, Lori Lightfoot, Jesus Chuy Garcia, and then Willie Wilson. Just in your head, does that sound about where things are right now?
Well, Paul Vallis at the top, most certainly. In the last several weeks, he's been running pretty much near the top. We're going to have a runoff no matter what. He's only around 27% or so. You need 50 to win outright. Then you have the other 3 that are coming up behind him, and that looks like a race for second place. And that is so close, within the margin of error of most of the polls I've seen, that anyone could take that one.
So then this election is a race for second place.
It's a race for second place, and we may not even know who's in second place tonight, depending on how close the margins are, because there's going to be so many mail-in ballots that still have to be counted.
So does that mean it's a runoff to the runoff?
Yeah,
is that what
yeah.
Runoff, the runoff to the runoff. Wow, that is really. Has it ever been like this before? You can remember
where we didn't know the runoff the night before. No. One thing that might be different is that if Lori Lightfoot does not get into that would be the first time.
That would be a first
incumbent
incumbent.
mayor did not run off.
Wow. Is that likely? Or is that possible?
It's possible because, like I said, those 3, Johnson, Garcia, and Lightfoot, are sort of in a dead heat for that second place slot.
And we do know for a fact that we are likely looking at a runoff scenario.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, there's not a lot of time to turn it around either. The election's April 4th, so that means whoever's in the runoff only has about 5 weeks, assuming they know who they are, to turn things around and to make that big race.
And in those 5 weeks, do you think voters change their mind?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. I think what happens is that everything gets consolidated because you might have an automatic race with 6 or 7 candidates. It's down to 2 now. Yeah. So that means the supporters for the other folks are going to have to take a second look at the people at the top. And they may change their minds in terms of who maybe they like a different candidate than the one that they chose. And you're going to see a lot of people reaching out to get some of those others. also-rans are going to want to be brought in to endorse the people at the top, because that hopefully might bring their support along with them.
So do candidates change their campaign style, their strategy in the runoff too? So let's say we've got Vallis up against Lori Lightfoot, or Vallis and Chewy Garcia. Is there a recalculation about how they handle their campaigns?
I think in the mayoral race, I think the top issues are going to remain the same: public safety, crime, violence, but also education and economic development. Those are the things we've been talking about. I think what you're going to see is a lot of negative campaigning, because each candidate is going to have to, but first of all, make the best case that they're the best one, but also bring the other candidate down. And there's a lot of negative material out there already from this round in terms of negative ads, in terms of a lot of opposition research that each candidate can jump on and augment. And they're going to want to do it early. I mean, if I were Paul Vallis, the next day I'd be hitting the airwaves, beating up on whoever my opponent is. But the problem is he may not know.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we actually find out, will it make a difference for the other candidates to throw their weight behind whoever the top two are? Like, do you understand?
It can make a huge difference. In 2019, if you recall, it was Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle in the runoff.
Yeah.
And Willie Wilson came in. He came in a distant, but he came. But he had a significant support in the black community. He was heavily courted by both those candidates. He went with Lori Lightfoot. It made a difference, I think, in terms of Lori Lightfoot's victory.
So that's something that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about, because it is going to come down to two people.
Oh, it is.
And all this field is so big right now.
Yeah, exactly.
These other candidates, that'll be interesting who they're going to go with.
They have weight, for example. So if it's Chewy Garcia, he's going to want to bring Brandon Johnson in, because Brandon Johnson's going to be able to take credit for some significant part of that progressive vote. So you're going to see some consolidation, and you're going to see a real dogfight for those endorsements.
The days of our lives.
Yep.
You thought the soaps were over.
Drama.
Right? We didn't even get to the aldermanic races.
Nah,
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, right?
There's going to be a lot of runoffs there.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah, and that too. All right, Laura, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, try to get some sleep. Good luck.
Nap time this afternoon, and then
that's it. And coffee. You need it intravenously. All right, be sure to stay with ABC7 tonight. Tonight for election results and live analysis. Live streaming coverage starts at 7 p.m. at a7chicago.com or wherever you stream. We'll have a complete wrap-up on the air on Eyewitness News at 10. More news coming your way.
Good morning to you. Well, I'm showing you the future cast. This is not a radar. This is the future, because I want you to know we will have a dry day today, partial sunshine, but overnight tonight we are going to have a little area of some rain that does move through. I'm going to jump to Friday because I just want to kind of put a bug in your ear about what's coming Friday. Could have a messy setup here on Friday. As of right now, still early in the game, but it does look as though we will have snow, maybe a combination of snow and rain coming our way here on Friday. It looks like, as of right now, it looks like the afternoon evening rush is going to be more impacted than the morning commute. You see, more of the accumulated snow to happen during the afternoon and evening hours here on Friday. Today, the average high is 41 degrees. And right now, our temperature at O'Hare is already at 38 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Roz?
We're still looking at some pretty high travel times out there, ranging 50 minutes to an hour 15 on the inbound Kennedy. That's going to be your heaviest delay. And there you see it. It's just inching along on the inbound side around that North Avenue curve. Now, we just got a release from CDOT. They're going to have to do some emergency bridge repairs later on today, 10 o'clock this morning until 2 this afternoon. They're going to have the Franklin Street Bridge closed for these emergency seawall repairs, basically between Grant and Wagner, so either side of the river. There will be a posted detour. Keep that in mind because it might add a few extra minutes to your trip. This is for vehicular traffic as well as pedestrians. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thanks. We begin today's talkers with that slap.
The slap.
The slap, that slap, the slap.
From last year's Oscars, a Guy Smith banned from the award show for a decade. So now we're coming up on this year's Oscars, Sunday, March 12th, and Chris Rock is apparently ready to talk about last year's assault. The comedian is set to go live with a new Netflix comedy special. That part, there it is. Knew there was some, What's not clear is how Chris Rock will handle the show. So the special airs live this Saturday night out in Baltimore. Another headline here is that this is also Netflix's first live event.
So I'm not 100% sure that Chris Rock is going to talk about this. That's what I'm not convinced about. Is he really going to talk about it, or is this a comedy special?
Or is it both, where he incorporates a little bit of that into the bit?
Well, the time is interesting. It's a week before the Oscars.
Later.
Does that have something to do with it? You think he's
perfect?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think he's actually going to? I don't know.
I think so. I think it makes sense. I think it's a year. And if he were just going to come out and talk, I would be a little suspicious. But because it is for a special that he does want people to watch, and so many people are interested in hearing what he has to say, I think this is going to be the moment.
And it's live.
Right.
Can't take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should do something epic, like.
I'm going to be the dissenting opinion here. I don't think he's going to spend much time on it. I think it's really going to be more this comedy special. That's what I'm.
Are you saying that he's not going to say anything at all?
I don't feel like he won't say anything at all. I just don't think it's going to be
the whole thing. Yeah. I agree with that.
But he's already done that before. Remember last week you were like, I just want to hear from him.
Yeah.
Like you really want to hear something solid from him.
Yeah.
He's talked about it a little bit in his comedy here and there. Remember afterwards?
He did.
And
then he said
made
more later.
Jokes about it. Yeah, but I don't think this is going to be that meaty type of conversation
that's probably going to be a special that when you sit down and interview him, that he'll tell you everything when that happens.
So let me ask you this. So, okay, let's say he does sprinkle in some comedy. Does this absolve Will Smith from everything? Do people look at it like, oh, he's over it now, so we can let him back in? I don't know. Does that, I'm just bringing that up. Is that something that they would consider if he forgives?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
But that will come out when Chris Rock really talks.
Yeah.
Right. That's when we will know. But we're not going to get that. That's my point. We're not going to get that this Saturday.
You're not going to
We're going to get a comedy special with a little bit of references,
one-liners, some
about
bits.
the slap.
Yeah, I agree.
But what we want to know is what you're asking. And we want it from him. When that will come, I know. Thank you. But I think be Robin Roberts, Oprah.
Okay. Michelle Obama.
I think
Mike Strahan is the last.
I feel like wait, hold up, I forgot.
Gayle King. Yeah.
It's going to be one of those four.
Or Terrell and Val.
Yeah.
Who?
You feel the most comfortable on this couch.
He sure would, right? With his feet up, right? Rub his head. Yeah, I know. Switching gears, we're going to talk about, we've heard a lot lately about, kind of quieting. And then there's rage applying. So when something really makes you mad at work and you take that anger and channel it into finding another job.
Wait, what?
I heard that one before.
Rage.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So lost.
Yep.
Rage applying. I don't know why that's coming. We introduced you to Bare Minimum Monday. Yeah, that's happening now, and ABC will again help us better understand this new viral trend.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
And you can only wear your hair in a ponytail once a week.
so I guess you pick today.
And on days, we do the bare minimum.
Bare Minimum Monday is where I hold myself accountable to doing the bare minimum for work, and then the rest of the day is for me.
Bare Minimum Monday is the brainchild of X-based digital creator Marissa Jo Mays.
It's a burnout prevention strategy. Like, there's a reason the tortoise and the hare story has stuck around for so long.
Bare Minimum Monday, MJ says, isn't about phoning it in or slacking off, but about examining your relationship with hustle culture.
I could go fix my hair, I could do the whole thing. And then I was like, well, we're discussing Bare Minimum Mondays, so
Yeah, you're the full embodiment.
I did get out of my PJs, you know.
Partial embodiment, yes.
Okay.
Killing it.
But why does Bare Minimum Monday have legs now? Last month's unemployment rate fell to 3.4%, the lowest figure since 1969. And according to federal data, the economy had 11 million job openings as of December. Experts telling us in a tight labor market like this one, workers typically wield greater leverage over an employer, since workers have more latitude to seek a job elsewhere.
I was in corporate America for 3 years, spiraled into burnout so fast. It only took me to age 25 to wind up with several health issues. I was in a bad place.
And quitting her checked out self-employment, but that didn't fix her burnout.
I didn't necessarily have a boss problem. I had a hustle culture problem. One morning I woke up and audibly gave myself permission. You have permission to do the absolute bare minimum. Insane happened the moment I let myself off the hook a little bit.
Now, 3 million TikTok likes later, Bare Minimum Monday has taken off with burnt out employees. MJ said, "Oh,
Sometimes doing the bare minimum is okay and it's enough. It's what the word literally means. The minimum of what's acceptable, people will reject it because they have yet to investigate their relationship to productivity."
Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
Ooh.
So you know what I was thinking about as watching that? Have a second kid. That's when you start doing the bare
Minimum?
like I'm thinking
All
about
the
that,
effort
and
into
I'm
the
like,
first
yeah,
day.
because you know how she's like, you know, it'll just get to it. I really feel like, you know, when you have your first kid, your hands on and you're like all in. When you that second and third comes along, you're like,
Yon.
Well, because you know.
Right.
Yeah. You're, and I only have one, so I mean, it's hard for me to say. But when, you know, after you've done it all, learned it all, it's like, okay, I have a better insight to what's going on. I don't need to do this much, or I need to do more here.
Yeah.
So I've been doing bare minimum Mondays for years.
for 20 years. Now, I think, well, and to that point that both of you made, maybe that is what our young people, because these are young people who are coming up with this stuff and saying this stuff. Yeah. If you learn it and you do it, I think you learn these tricks in your 30s and in your 40s, and after doing a job for 10 years, to not go all out 5 days a week and to give yourself some grace on Monday so that things are better on Wednesday.
It's so much nicer saying give yourself some grace.
Yeah, than bare minimum Monday. Right.
Yeah. About this.
Right. No, that's what the couch is
Don't
for.
get me started.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Totally.
Don't get me
No,
started.
start it.
No,
That's
start.
what the couch is for.
Yeah.
This is bare minimum. You really want to go to a job and give it your bare minimum? What is wrong with working and working hard and work ethic? What is wrong with this?
Nothing.
Told you, we're on the same page.
I know. I don't get it.
What's going on, though? I mean,
You know what? They don't have the wherewithal that we do, and not all of them. I shouldn't say that. It is.
Yeah.
But their mindset is a little different, and I just feel like
It's narcissistic. It's very me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the way we were brought up was, you know, hustle, hard work, and now everything, you know, wants to be had easily.
It is. Yeah. No hustle. Don't go crazy on the grind. Balance.
Well, you want to be at the receiving end of that bare minimum?
Exactly. Right. Right. Is there any good work out there anymore?
Yeah.
ABC7 streaming out loud this morning. We got to get some young people on so we can talk to them.
To balance it.
Yeah. Right.
We're not beating up you young people, because there are some really go-getters out there. You know, it's just some of them. Yeah. Oh, right.
We're back in 90 seconds. It's the last day of celebrating this morning. I like the DuSable History Museum and Education Center.
It's dedicated to the study and conservation of African American history, culture, art, and as Karen Jordan shows us, the museum has a global impact.
The DuSable Black History Museum and Education Center just celebrated 62 years of showcasing Black history, art, and culture. It updated its name last summer, signaling that the institution is expanding its education outreach.
We have been an iconic institution here on the South Side and are really establishing a global reach as well.
President and CEO Perry Ermer says it's more important than ever that the museum is a resource for future generations.
Especially now when certain folks are trying to erase our history, to almost legislate continued ignorance about American history.
Ermer says the goal of the museum is to highlight the experience of Black people across the world through special events and exhibits, like the one planned for next month called Diaspora Stories. It will feature pieces from the extensive private art collection of actress CCH Pounder, who will also visit the museum.
She'll be telling her perspective on growing up as a Black woman in the Caribbean and also being educated in the UK.
And in the fall, another exhibit will feature the work of Academy Award-winning costume designer Ruth Carter. She won the Oscar for her work in Black Panther and is nominated for her work in the sequel, Wakanda Forever. Her film career spans nearly 30 years.
Amistad, Root, Selma, Butler, Malcolm X, all of Spike Lee's films.
For the remainder of Black History Month, DuSable has a special where admission to the museum is $5 and free for children ages 11 and under. Karen Jordan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, it's definitely worth a visit.
Yeah,
Check it out.
sure is. Before we get out of here this hour, Sister's new memoir is being released today, just in time for March Madness. And the book is called Wake Up with Purpose, What I've Learned in My First 100 Years. She's 103 years old, by the way. Sister Jean was on Good Morning America yesterday, so the entire country had a chance to hear from Loyola's biggest fan.
We got to share her with the nation because we feel like she's ours.
She's our Sister Jean. And, you know, there's a whole lot of wisdom and knowledge in that book, too.
I'm so glad they featured her. Tracy and Rosenbell Warner.
And I'm Terrell Brown. Thank you so much for watching this morning. Image of a news update. Of course, Tracy and Ron will have weather and traffic too. Good Morning America. Going to hear from them from everyone. ABC7. Have a great election day, everybody. Continuing coverage, of course, tomorrow morning. We'll see you back here then.
This has been Eyewitness News.